couple minutes late here. I'm going to open the April 28th meeting for the Wakefield Conservation Commission. First item is the approval of the minutes from April 14th. There was a slight correction that Judy's already made. Anybody have any other comments or discussion on those minutes?
Do we need attendance, Bob?
I'm sorry, we do. I was kind of taking it as they were logging in, but I never formally did that. All right, so Frank. Peter.
Here.
Teresa.
Here.
Savannah.
Present.
Okay, Peter's here. Jimmy's not here yet. All right, so anyways, back to the minutes.
Ken is here.
Who is?
Ken.
Oh, yes, sorry, Ken. There's a lot of people on the side here logged in right now.
Thank you.
It's hard to see everybody. All right, so the minutes from April 14th. Any comments, discussions? And if not, would somebody like to make a motion to approve those?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a
I
second?
second.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor? Peter,
Yes.
Teresa,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Savannah,
Yes.
Frank,
Abstain, I was not there.
okay. And I also approve those minutes. All right, before we get into the next topic, I do want to say that this is Frank's last meeting with us. Frank's been with the commission 20 years, Frank?
Just about 20 years, yes.
Yeah. So I definitely want to thank you for your service and contributions to everything you've done over the years. You've been an invaluable contributor. Your knowledge, experience, and everything have been, paramount to the success of the commission in the last 20 years. We're really going to miss your presence and your contribution. And we wish you continued success.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it's bittersweet. I just wish I had more time to dedicate to the commission, just being pulled in a lot of different directions. So be a good chance to get some new faces involved.
Yep. Well, Frank, on a personal level, I really hope you have a good 1-year sabbatical before we see you back.
Thanks, Peter.
Yeah, that's it. 1 year.
Right.
1 year.
We'll miss you, Frank.
Thanks.
Yeah, we definitely will, no doubt. All right. First up is 2 Clyde Court, DEP 313613. Discussion of conditions, covenant, easements, and vote. Brian, I think that's you.
It is, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. Thank you, Brian McGrail, representing the applicant. To refresh the commission's memory, at the last meeting, there was a desire for a covenant, restrictive covenant, as it relates to a area on the lot to protect the 25-foot buffer to prevent any dumping, filling, and also to put a requirement on to maintain and replace, if they die, the wetlands plantings that will go into that area, or the landscaping plantings that will go in that area. So per the direction of the commission, I drafted a restrictive covenant, and I also ran it by Tom Mullen, town council, who had some input and comments. And I'm happy to share that. I don't know if that's been presented to the full board at this full commission at this point. But Tom has agreed, and what I did is I not only made it as a covenant, but I made it as a condition that will go into the order of conditions. So it's in both spots. So the order of conditions reference this as a requirement itself, saying that a certificate of compliance would not release it from the order, and then the order requires the filing of a covenant to the same effect. So it's kind of coupled, it's belt and suspended, that it's in both places. And Tom agreed that that was probably a good way to do it, proper way to do it. So would you like me to share that, Mr.
Yeah,
Chair?
please
That'd be
do.
helpful. Okay. So the first, this would be a proposed condition that will go in the actual order. And so I guess I'll go through it. That in meeting with Elaine, she wanted me to put a purpose in here of the condition, and says the purpose of this condition is to preserve the 25-foot buffer area, including the native plant species and wildlife habitat on or near the property. To that end, the area of the property delineated as conservation easement on the plan entitled Conservation Restriction Plan of 2 Clyde Court in Wakefield, Mass. Dated March 4, 2022, attached here to is Exhibit A. So that will be attached to the order, the conditions itself, and it's defined as a restricted area is hereby subject to the following restriction. A, the restricted area shall be planted in accordance with and as shown on the plan entitled Planting Plan dated February 28, 2022, attached here to is Exhibit B. B, these plantings shall be maintained in perpetuity by the owner, and any plantings that die shall be replaced forthwith by the property owner with the type of plant identified in Exhibit B. There shall be no dumping or filling whatsoever in the restricted area, including but not limited to leaves, grass clippings, yard trimmings, or other vegetation. D, the property owner shall remove any trash or items referenced in C above that find their way into the restricted area forthwith. So if maybe a neighbor or somebody else dumps something in there. E, the restricted area shall not be altered or changed in any way without prior written permission from the Conservation Commission. F, if at any time the property owner fails to comply with the terms of this condition, then the Conservation Commission or its agents and/or designees shall, in addition to all other rights and remedies, have the right to enter the restricted area and do such work as it may deem appropriate to bring the restricted area into compliance with this condition to the satisfaction of the Conservation Commission. In such an event, within 30 days notice from the Conservation Commission, the property owner shall pay and/or reimburse the Conservation Commission for said work, including the actual cost and imputed value of any town of Wakefield labor involved. That would be if, for example, you sent the DPW to do it. The conservation shall have a cause of action and damages for such sum against the property owner. And in any such action shall be entitled to recover reasonable value of its attorney's time, town council, and any expenses or costs incurred therein. And this is where you require the covenant. The property owner shall present a restrictive covenant, easement, and agreement relative to compliance with this condition, which shall be set to the satisfaction of town council. Said restrictive covenant, easement, and agreement shall be recorded at Middlesex South Registry of Deeds and shall be superior entitled to any mortgages relating to the property, to make sure that that doesn't get wiped out if there was ever a foreclosure of a mortgage. This condition shall be effective in perpetuity and shall not be affected or released by the issuance of a certificate of compliance. The red lines that you see were town council's comments and edits to what I had presented to him. So that would go in the actual order as a condition. And then this is the covenant. And we call it a covenant, easement, and agreement because we've given you rights to go on if you need to, so you need an easement to be able to do that. And it's also an agreement. So this is the current property owner, 107 Prospect LLC, is the owner of 2 Clyde Court. It's shown as Lot C2 on the subdivision plan that was approved by the planning board. Notice of intent was filed, and we're assuming here it's approved because this is pursuant to the order for construction of a single-family dwelling. And it says in consideration of the commission issuing an order of conditions and in consideration of $1 and hand-paid receipt, and in compliance with the requirements of the order of conditions, the undersigned covenant agrees with the commission as follows. This restrictive covenant, easement, and agreement shall run with the property and shall be binding upon the developer, who is the current owner, and successors and assigns of the developer, including any future owners of the property. We define them as property owner. It is intention of the developer and is hereby understood and agreed that this restrictive covenant, easement, and agreement shall constitute a covenant running with the property and shall operate as a restriction and requirement upon said property and the property owner in perpetuity, the same having been required as a condition of said order of conditions. The area of the property delineated as conservation easement, entitled Conservation Restriction Plan. And again, it just defines a restricted area, which I'll show you those plans in a minute, the Exhibit A and B. And this, basically mirrors, if you will, the language in the order of conditions. Unless the commission wants, I'm not going to waste your time going through this. And this is, 4 is different, where the developer hereby grants a permanent easement to the commission on, over, and under the restricted areas for the purposes of inspection, maintenance, repairs, or work if the restrictions and requirements stated herein are not complied with. So this is what would give you the actual right to go on the property and do the work. And again, it has to be recorded at Middlesex South Registry of Deeds.
I have a comment. I'm sorry. I'll wait till you're done, Brian. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm done. I'm done, Teresa. And I will, after your comment, I will show you the plans.
No. I guess my only question is, I think we need an easement unless the commission tells me differently, to go over C2 to get to the restricted area.
Yeah, I think that is, I talked to Tom about that, and I think it's implied that you have a right, a right to get there.
I don't think so, but I think we should specify it.
Yeah, I mean, we can carve that in, Teresa, if that makes you comfortable. I respect the point. So we can put something in there.
Again, I don't know if my fellow commissioners disagree.
Hey, Brian, I have a question as well on item number 4.
Yeah.
Is that like some sort of a springing easement that there isn't? I mean, it's an easement that comes into being only if the restrictions are stated herein are not complied with? I mean,
No.
what does that mean?
No.
Because it said here, it grants an easement if, I'll just say, taking all the prepositional phrases out, it grants a permanent easement if the restrictions and our requirements are not complied with.
Yeah, because you're not going to go in there if they are complied with.
Well, I know, but the whole point isn't the easement to inspect whether or not is complied with. That's all I'm getting at, is that, I mean, isn't it an easement to determine whether to determine ongoing compliance or I don't know. It just struck me the if part seems like it modified whether there's an easement at all.
Yeah, I think the if part modifies the previous phrase. So the inspection, maintenance, and repairs for work are related to the restrictions. You know what I mean?
Wait, let me just read this again. The developer hereby grants a permanent easement to the commission on over for the purposes of inspection. Okay, inspection is whether or not. And if the restrictions are not complied with, maintenance and repairs.
I think it's for the repairs if the
Yes,
restrictions
that's
are not
or
complied
work
with.
if the restrictions are not complied with.
You guys okay with the language? Am I being overly fussy?
Well, I mean, you could say, I
I
guess
guess
you could say, just to play with it, Peter, just to, I see what you're saying. So restricted area for purpose of inspection, repairs, or work. And we could say to determine, I think what you're getting at, we could add to.
Well, I think inspection, it's an easement for purpose of inspecting whether
Yeah.
the condition of the determine compliance with, to monitor compliance with the conditions. And if there isn't compliance, to undertake, I don't know. I don't know what I mean. I don't even know what it means if it's not. I mean, if we monitor, whether we just do an enforcement order or not.
Yeah, that might not make sense, because if you're saying repairs would already be conducted to determine if the restriction, because you wouldn't be doing repairs to determine if the restrictions are not complied with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so repairs might need to be moved to the bottom.
How about if you just did this, right? Developer grants a permanent easement to the commission on over the unrestricted area for purposes of inspection, maintenance, repairs, or work, period. That will do it, because that gives you the right to go in and inspect, and
Yeah.
I think that cleans it up, makes
I
it
think you're
more
right.
succinct. Does
I
that
think
make?
so.
There's
What
no
do our
qualifier.
lawyers think about that?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
We could add something, Teresa, that would say, it also provides the right over other areas of the property, because we've defined property, necessary
To
to
access.
access
Access that area.
the restricted area.
Yep,
Does that make sense?
yep.
Yeah.
And I might just add the word after the word provides to the commission.
Okay. Where do you want to put that, Teresa?
I'm sorry, just after the word provides to the commission.
Yep.
Just after the word provide, that's all. No, that's, thank you.
Right here?
Yes,
How many lawyers on the commission?
yes.
Yeah,
Oh, you like that, Mr. Chair? Does that work?
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. I think we missed one little thing here too. Hold on. So this should be added here. Because that needs to be superior to mortgages related to the property too. That was left out by mistake.
I'm curious, again, this is a legal thing, Brian, whether that's enforceable.
What's that? Oh, this?
The superior, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, basically what we'll do is if he has, I think he has a loan on the property with a local bank, so we will go to that bank and we will get them to subordinate this, their mortgage to this
Wow,
document.
that's great.
Otherwise, if that mortgage ever got foreclosed,
Right,
it
it'll be
would wipe,
wiped out.
it
Right,
would
right,
wipe out your covenant.
right.
So,
But you would need to get that subordination in order to make that effective, though, but
That's right.
great.
yeah, oh, yeah, just putting this language in there doesn't do it.
Right.
It's really telling us that we need, we need to do it.
Okay, thank you, that's great.
any other comments or questions
And
concerning
I
this?
know, Brian, I'm sorry, and you wanted to go to the exhibits, Brian, I'm sorry.
Yes, let me show you those, Teresa. Hold
Wait a
on.
minute, before you go there, equally as important as all of this legal language, in the title, the word commission is missing an S.
Oh, where are we, Rebecca? Up here?
Yep,
Oh, thank you.
I'm sorry.
No, spell check didn't get it. Okay. Thank you. It's got a double was now. And Rebecca, assuming this turns out to be adequate for the commission, I'll clean it up and send it to Tom and copy you.
Look at one minor thing, Brian, on in paragraph 2, you get the squiggly line underneath.
Oh, where are we, Frank, here?
Let's see, third line, as a restrictions.
Oh. Okay. There you go.
Perfect.
Okay. Can I go to the plan?
Please,
Okay. 1 second.
Hi, I noticed just one grammatical error too on the County of Middlesex, April 2021. Do you mean to say April 2022?
Yes.
Oh, hold on. Let me, I'm
I'm a
gonna bring it
notary,
back up.
so I take a special attention to that.
Savannah, was that on the covenant or the order?
No, that's on the covenant. It's the
Covenant,
very bottom,
so-
where it says executed as sealed, and then if you go all the way to the bottom, it says Commonwealth of Massachusetts. County of
Oh, that's on the
Middlesex.
notary clause. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
I just fixed it. You can't see it, but I did.
okay.
All right. Okay, so this is the Exhibit A plan, and it depicts the conservation easement, which you wanted. Paul I think you've seen this, so this is it right here. So that's Exhibit A, which depicts it, the area. And then this is Exhibit B, which shows the plantings and has the plant schedule.
So Brian, the conservation easement equals the restricted area.
That's right.
Is this
Yeah.
something that ties those two terms together?
Yeah, in the covenant in order, Frank, it references this plan and references the conservation easement.
Okay.
It defines it.
But is it clear from the other plan that where the conservation easement is? Like it's
Yeah,
not-
I think it is. I think you can see it's delineated right here.
Yeah, that's a little confusing.
It is. I feel like it should be cross-hatched or something with a little legend on the side, so that it's clear where it is. I don't think it's incredibly clear.
Okay, we can do that. I can have Paul Finocchio do that.
I would suggest adding also maybe in parentheses restricted area, because you make a lot of references to Appendix B restricted area, and then you come here and you don't see the words restricted area.
But
Just
in
to
the
make,
itself, it says shown as conservation easement.
oh, it does say that? There
Yeah,
are a bunch of references to Appendix B.
no, it defines it pretty well. I think I have no problem cross-hatching it.
As long as the attorneys are happy.
We'll do whatever you
Yeah.
want.
Ryan, could you just go back to that for a second?
Yep, I can. Hang on.
So I didn't realize that I don't see Jimmy, but Jimmy's on.
Jimmy's on.
Okay.
He joined late.
Okay. Yes, right. There we go. Yeah, so that definition, Frank, is fine.
Right here. Delineated as conservation. What I'll do is I'll have Paul hatch it, and then I'll put, conservation easement, and I'll have him also just point to it and say restricted area. That, just to belt and suspender it.
Right, exactly.
Happy to do that. Okay.
All right, so I guess we need to first vote on this easement. And then also we can talk about the conditions and adding that special condition.
I think, with all due respect, Mr. Chair, I think the order would come first because the order is what requires a restriction.
Okay. All right, do we have any discussion about any special conditions other than the one we've already talked about?
Bob, I was late for that. So what was the first one you talked about?
There's a special condition that references the easement in the restricted area that'll be added in. That's the only one at this point.
Okay.
Rebecca, is there anything we'd want to strike from the standard order that may not pertain? I don't,
That's,
think so.
yeah, probably you can go through each one.
Can we look at the plan again?
Yep, hold on, Jim. Can you see it, Jim?
Yes, I can. What was the decision on the, were we putting a fence up there and weren't we putting a fence around it?
There was a fence noted
Where is it?
in the full plan. I'm pretty sure there's a fence noted.
Okay,
I have to go through
Go to
the,
the second page.
Oh, here you go.
okay, that's what I need right there. Your planting plan,
trees,
fence.
proposed fence.
And what do we propose for the fence type? It says fence type to be determined.
I don't know that we actually picked a particular fence. We talked about a few different options. A post and rail, but we felt that it would rot out
Yeah.
too quickly. We did talk about, I think, a metal chain link at one point, I think that was brought up. I don't think it was determined.
Well, my point is, is that something we're gonna let them decide later on, or is it something, I mean, I definitely don't want a wooden fence there. I don't know, because I don't think it's gonna last. So how do you want to,
I mean, we could have a vinyl fence.
I don't care, I think that would last long. I don't know, I don't think we have to get into specifics, just maybe something that we know is gonna last a long time and they're not gonna be replacing every few years. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you could condition that a non-wooden fence be used and leave it up to the,
Yeah, that
property
sounds,
owner.
that sounds like a good idea.
And that gives them the option of vinyl or chain link or whatever else they want to do.
Yeah,
So do you want to put a minimum height on there too? I mean, I'm just being, facetious, but can they put up a 1 foot fence? You know, those things you stake into the ground and call it.
Oh, yeah, if you don't want somebody stepping on your freshly planted grass type of thing.
yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
You don't want snow fence, right?
Yeah, I think Frank's right. We should probably talk about what we expect to see out there.
I mean,
No
I'm just
fence.
saying minimum height. I think, and what you were saying earlier might cover it.
So fence heights start at what, 3.5 feet typically?
Fence is usually 4 feet or 6 feet. I think you can even do them 8 now, can't you?
You can go away with the stockade type.
Yeah, I don't know if you want an 8 foot stockade fence there
No.
though.
No, I'm sure you
No.
don't. I wouldn't.
I was thinking 3 or 4 feet. I don't know what's standard.
Yeah, I think 4 feet's probably pretty standard. That might be a good height.
Well, yeah, that might be a little high, but
Something
'cause
that
I
a
know,
dog can't jump over.
Well, any suggestions? You could say 4 feet minimum or 3.5 feet minimum.
I don't know that they have 3.5 feet.
Well, I know they do have less than 4 feet. Maybe it's 40 inches, maybe it's 42, I don't know.
You can get 3 foot.
Yeah,
yeah, I'd probably go closer to 3 feet.
yeah, all
Minimum
right. I
3.
just looked up typical fence heights. Normally 4 to 6 feet, but anywhere from 3 to 12.
Yeah.
So what do you want to call it, Jimmy?
Okay,
So we can have a condition that'll say it'll be a non-wooden fence, minimum height of what, 3 feet, 3.5 feet?
that's fine.
I said I'd do 3 feet.
3
Okay.
feet.
All right, any other special conditions or changes to the standard conditions?
You know, I missed part of this, but Brian, there must be something in there that says if the plants die, you replace them. I'm sure.
Yes, there is, Jim.
Okay.
Do you want to see it, Jim?
No, I believe you.
Okay.
Yeah, we covered that, Jimmy. It is 7:30 now. And we're already behind schedule. Rebecca, you wouldn't happen to be looking at the standard order, would you?
I am.
I thought so.
You guys always have the option of, voting, closing, and fine tuning the conditions next time, if you so desire. We're expecting to get an edited document back anyway. What we can do is we can have them printed, the standard for you guys to cross out, and the 2 additional, one of which obviously you guys just reviewed.
I like that idea.
Yeah, well, that might be easier. And then you can just read through or red line or know in advance which ones you want to cross out. You'll have the new document to reference, and you can read the language in regard to the fence.
You'll send it to us before the next meeting, will you, Rebecca?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so Brian, that's what we're going to do. It'll give some time to go through the standard order and see if we need to strike anything out of there or not.
Okay.
Anything else for us?
No, I think, well, more importantly, do you need anything else from me? I think I'll edit those and I'll send them to Tom, and Rebecca, I'll send them to you. I'll send you a red line of what we did and then clean copies.
Thank you.
Sounds
Well,
good.
Perfect.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you, Brian.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right. Rebecca, do you need a moment there to move on, or are you good?
I'm good. Thank you.
All right, so next up is DP 313607. This is Lake Street, Wakefield Brook. Public hearing continued. Notice of intent for the replacement of a drain pipe in the Lake Street.
Okay. Good evening. Can I be heard?
Yes, go ahead, Mark.
This is Tim Sullivan. I'm with Seaver Construction and Foundry Development, developers of 69 Foundry Street. And this is, with me tonight is Mark Slager, our civil engineer, and Brian McGrail, our project counsel. Mary Trudeau, our wetlands consultant, was unable to join us this evening. Very quickly, as to move things along, this is the replacement of about 300 feet of storm drainage pipe in Lake Street, going from an 18-inch line to a 24-inch line, penetrating into the sidewall of a culvert that leads into Wakefield Brook. And at the last meeting, the particulars of the penetration into the culvert were discussed, and the commission and staff requested that we consider the addition of a storm scepter device, which Mark will get into in a moment. And it's been located on our property, not in the street. There was some discussion of whether to put it in the street or the property. I'm going to turn it over to Mark right now, who will go through the storm scepter item and some other minor issues like a turbidity curtain and some straw hay bales and other things that were requested along the way by the commission and by Bill Renaud, the town engineer. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mark.
Hey, thank you. Mark Slager from Allen Engineering. Could I have permission to share my screen, please?
Yes, please do, Mark.
All right, can everyone see this?
Yes.
Okay. At the last meeting, we talked about some minor additions to the plan, specifically around our dewatering system. We originally had silt socks, but now we're requiring hay bales to build up the walls a little bit more. We've also put a requirement in for 2 extra sediment bags during all dewatering operations, so that if one of them gets full, we have a ability to quickly change it out. We also have a turbidity curtain that was added. I've got details on the next page. So the turbidity curtain was already there. I just added some details on the next page. One of the biggest things was adding a storm scepter into the site for 69 Foundry Street, which discharges into Lake Street. We're going to replace the existing drain manhole on site and replace it with a storm scepter 450I. Also added a detail of that storm scepter on the second page down here. So this gives you the detail of the storm scepter that we're proposing to put in place. And that was the extent of the revisions that the commission requested. So with that, I'll turn it back over to the commission. for any
Mark,
questions.
has the storm scepter been added to the O&M plan?
Not yet. That's going to be for the 69 Foundry Street. We could certainly add that to the O&M plan for that. That'll be amending in the, Brian will take care of that, amending in the homeowners association documents and all that.
Okay. Any other questions from the commission? We pretty much covered all of this at the last meeting.
Just, where does the turbidity curtain go?
Basically on the downstream, just outside the box culvert. So this is where the penetration into the culvert's going. There's a couple of granite retaining walls on each side, and we would just put it at the tail end of that. So it's just an extra surety for controlling any sediment.
That's just during construction?
We could leave it, during construction. That would be recommended in case there's any sediment that gets in there. If there's nothing happening on the site and we have a rainfall event coming up, then we could certainly pull that aside so that it doesn't interfere with the conveyance of the water through the culvert.
You probably know this, but I know where you had that cut where you're cutting the pipe into the box culvert. You're showing there's a lot of sediment in the chamber. Is that also in the pipe? Well, that's the pipe you're going to replace to the 24-inch, right?
Correct.
Okay, so you have to clean the chamber out anyways, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I have a question if we have a lull.
Sure.
Do you happen to know if this means that we have covered all of the DEP comments that they made? I know they wanted some details and it looks like you've included some details. Did you happen to go back through what they had requested and to ensure that we've now supplied everything?
I believe that was discussed at the last meeting, and Mary Trudeau
Yep.
addressed all of that information.
Okay, great. Sorry about that then. Thanks.
Yep.
Any other questions from the commission? Any questions from the public? would somebody like to make a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll
I'll
make a
make
motion
it,
to close the public hearing.
Is there a second? Not
Second,
sure. Okay. All in favor? Frank?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Jimmy?
Yeah,
Teresa?
yes,
Peter?
Yes.
Silvana?
yes.
And I also vote to close the public hearing. All right, I guess we'll discuss conditions at our next meeting. Just so we can keep moving forward. All right, thank you, Tim, and thank you, Mark.
Thank you, members of the commission.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night, guys.
Good night.
All right, next up is DP 313-616 Stark Ave. P&G Utilities, care of Scott Green, notice of intent for the approval of wetland delineation only.
Yes, Chairman, how are you?
Good evening.
Hi, Peter Blaisdell, representing the applicant, P&G Utilities, and also with me is Thor Akerley. So, Mr. Chairman, we had a site visit this past Saturday. I think we met with 3 of the members, and Mr. Luciani came along a little bit later on. He was busy working. And we rewalked the line again, just to go over some of the areas that I believe Rebecca and Jim had asked us to, take another look at. And I think after going over it again with Mr. Luciani, he understood why the line was placed where it was. So the reason tonight we've sent a letter along. The applicant wants to rethink the project. However, since there's been so much time put into the delineation of the line, and certainly Rebecca's time and Elaine's time and Thor's time and the commission's time going out to walk and rewalk the line to make sure that it's in the right place. We're asking the commission just to issue an order of conditions for the BVW line only. So nothing to do with the road or any of the other activities. If I can share my screen, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, please do.
Just be a second. Second, Mr. Chairman. Everybody see this okay?
Yes.
Okay, so Mr. Chairman, this is essentially the same existing conditions plan that was given to you. We've just stripped a little bit of the information out of it as far as any other development and that type of thing. So no changes to the BVW line. The stream was relocated after our March 28th public visit. The only thing I just wanted to show the commission that's a little bit different because it has been, what we felt was an important aspect is that we went in, we brought in the LEC plan from the notice of intent that had been filed in 2013. And we calculated that it appears that approximately the 390 square feet of bordering vegetated wetlands that was there before, that's the area that appears to have been filled. So we just wanted to note that on the plan that, so that way it's on the plan of record and won't be forgotten for future planning, if that makes sense, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
But that being said, I don't believe there's any other information. We'll certainly answer any questions you like, but as we mentioned, this is really just for the border vegetated wetland line for both the north and south side of the property.
Rebecca, did you have any questions or comments concerning the line?
Nope, I think we went through it a couple different times and I think we're all set.
Okay, we have done 2 site walks there. Okay. Any questions or comments from the commission?
can I just ask procedurally, can we order issue an order of conditions where no work is proposed? Is it called that?
I knew you were going to ask that.
I'm sorry.
I think you can. I don't see where there'd be any benefit to them refiling, renoticing,
no.
paying all that money. So, you're not obligated to attach all extra conditions. And I suppose the ones that are general and standard, for instance, a DEP sign, that kind of thing.
Right, all that wouldn't apply, right? There'd be a lot we'd strip out.
Yeah, so I think we would just probably make the notation that through the process, things have changed and we're going to use this document and this filing as like an ANRAD. That's how it would be, but.
Okay. And something to do with this new plan for the one that was filed. Right.
Yeah, so it'll reference this plan that you guys just showed and it will have the, I'll probably write something to go with it. I haven't ever done this before. And so I would say, if you guys close, I wouldn't issue it just yet. I would wait till the next meeting and I will just ensure that I know how to properly document this. I might ask a question or two, but it certainly seems reasonable to me. I'd hate for them to go through all the trouble. Doesn't seem worth it.
So why wouldn't this be an ANRAD
Because they didn't
request?
want an ANRAD.
Huh?
Yeah.
It's essentially doing the same thing, Mr. Chair. We've only done this a couple times where it's essentially like, instead of having to withdraw the NOI and then refile an ANRAD with you, and take up your time.
Okay.
It's essentially the same thing.
Okay.
I think they used NOIs for delineations before the ANRAD came around, didn't they?
No, that's 20 years.
Going back
Yeah,
a
it was
little
a long
ways,
time ago.
RDAs used to be pretty prevalent, but I think notice of intents were used for that purpose as well. So
Like I said, I'll try to figure out the technical part and I'll maybe, I haven't done this, so I'll poke around and ask and I don't see why not, but.
your order of conditions is yeah, like you said, is basically just going to say the only thing this order of conditions is doing is just confirming the
Yeah.
wetland line is shown on that record plan, and then I think you're covered.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that.
So with that, if there's nothing else, yeah, we'd love to have you close the hearing.
Mhm.
Are there any other comments, questions, discussion?
No,
Anything from the public? Okay, would somebody like to make a motion to close public hearing?
I'll make the motion
Is there a second?
to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Frank,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Silvana,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Teresa,
Yes.
Jimmy,
Yes,
and I also vote to close the public hearing. Okay,
Thank you for your time, everybody.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
You.
Have a nice evening.
All right, we're only about 5 minutes behind schedule right now. Rebecca, you okay to move on? All right, next up is DP 313-617, 39 Coolidge Park. Robert Reska, public hearing continued. Notice of intent after the fact. One-story roof structure, 2 paver patio, stairway wall, and various site work, and the construction of a 10 by 10 addition. And John, I see you're here for the applicant.
Yes, hi, good evening. John
Good
Ogren, Hayes Engineering, representing the applicant, Bob Reska. So just to refresh everyone's memory, we had a public hearing. We went out and had a site visit a week ago Saturday. I think there was 4 members of the commission were there. We went out and walked around in the backyard, essentially took a look at the wetlands and the areas of activity. And basically what I took away from that was there was a couple areas that the commission wanted some clarity and some additional work. If I can share my screen.
Yes, please do.
Submitted a revised plan. essentially the same plan. The only two real changes were down in this area here. We had discussed that looked like there was potentially some fill that was added in that area. So I designated this area near wetlands flag 1, and then we kind of counted up, there was some shrubs out there, about 4 shrubs up that we, the commission would like to see the fill to be removed in that area. And I labeled that as fill to be removed in this area prior to planting of ferns. If you recall, this green area was essentially an area that we had designated that any landscaping to be removed in there, and then 24 native wetland ferns to be planting in their place. The other change was over kind of an area where there was mulch, and if you recall, there was a row of bushes kind of at the top of the slope. Just designated that the regrading this area should be no greater than, no steeper basically than 3 to 1, and that I think the consensus was to leave these shrubs remaining. The only other thing of note was in this area down in here, there was some basically shoots that were sprouting out, and I believe Jimmy asked what they were. I consulted with Elizabeth, and those are Japanese knotweed, which are actually fact upland plants, and there's certainly something that we want to get under control because they will take over. And I think that was essentially, from my notes of the site visit, kind of addresses what was discussed during that site walk.
I do think that covered it. Any other comments from the commission?
John, did you say that's Japanese knotweed in that whole 30-foot wide area, buffer area?
In this area here?
Yeah.
Yeah, remember we looked at that plan.
Right. So do you think that we should be having him, is it going to affect the wetlands?
It's invasive, right?
Well, it's invasive, and it does tend to take over. I did talk to my client, and that's something that he's been actively removing every year, but it's not something that you just go in and dig it out and it's not there the next year. You gotta, it takes a long time to get rid of it.
Okay.
He was aware of it, and like I said, he was actively removing it.
Okay.
Maybe as a condition, we can say that we could put in that requirement that be removed. Any non-wetland species be removed on a regular basis. I get, but that means you go in there and you disturb it. So
How do you remove that stuff? What is the procedure for getting rid of it?
I discussed that also with Elizabeth. It really needs to be, basically dug up by its roots. But even then,
Yeah.
it's still going to come back the next, the following several seasons. You have to continue to do it. If you cut it, it just grows right back.
Yeah, it was everywhere back there.
And it come up through asphalt. It pushes right through. It's crazy.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty hardy too.
Okay. Well,
I mean, it looks like he's mowing it now to just keep it down. It's not going to get rid of it. It's going to keep it low.
Yeah, no, I had discussion with him that, he needs to make sure that it gets dug up.
okay. So we're gonna leave that up to him to take care of. I guess.
Yeah, that'd be my suggestion. I don't know that we want to condition that because I'm not sure what else would, end up getting, dug up or whatever.
Mhm.
There could be other things that maybe look like it that you don't know, and he's digging that up. I mean, that's something that probably requires somebody that knows what they're doing.
Mm. All right, I don't have any more questions about it.
I don't either. Anybody else from the commission have any questions or comments?
No.
I'll make a motion if you want.
Any questions or comments from the public? Okay, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Yes, you have a motion to close the public hearing.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Savannah,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Teresa,
Yes.
Jimmy,
Yes,
Ken,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
and I also vote yes. All right, hearing is closed and we'll, I guess, discuss an order either later tonight or next meeting.
Okay, that sounds good. I
right.
appreciate your time.
All right, thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're actually ahead of schedule now, and we can take care of some other business. Rebecca, we have tree removal request. You want to talk about that?
Sure. There is one tree approximately 14 feet from the edge of the wetland. There was an arborist letter that determines that the tree
What's the
is,
property address, Rebecca? Sorry.
6 Briarwood. Sorry about that. And the homeowner has requested that the tree be removed due to its leaning towards his house. I believe Elena's seen it. He has forwarded pictures. I was unable to get the picture. I did email, I don't know if he's on the meeting. He was going to try to come to the meeting, but I asked him to email another picture. I didn't receive it on time. However, from what I understand, the tree is still alive, so it's not a dead tree. Like I said, it's 14 feet from the BVW. However, it is leaning, and the arborist, I have the arborist letter that says the maple tree is leaning towards the house and has rot at the base. This tree is compromised, considered hazardous, poses a risk to your home, and is recommended to be removed. So that is from Keith's Tree Service. So he is aware of the tree policy, and instead of replacing that tree, he would like to make the donation to the tree fund.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
nope.
Okay, would somebody like to make a motion to approve that tree removal?
I'll move to approve that tree removal with the payment up into the tree fund for the replacement, instead of a replacement tree.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Frank,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Jimmy,
Yep,
Teresa,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Silvana.
Yes.
Yeah, I also vote yes. Okay. We do have one other item of other business on the agenda. And that would be 0 Greenwood Street. Rebecca, do you want to take that now? Because we do have about 10 minutes, 12 minutes.
Did you guys look over the email that was sent that talked about the changes and that from the discussion, I guess, at the last meeting?
Yeah, there was a couple of emails that we got on that.
I think it was the one that said the last one. If not, I can read it. I have it up.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
It says he's intending on attending the meeting, so it may be best to wait for him to join. He did say that he moved 10 feet closer to the street. The footprint moved 10 feet closer to the street, 10 feet to the left, moved the approved gravel pits for roof runoff to the right side, and added caisson footers to support building overhang. One of the things I did want to mention, and this is because Elaine explained it to me, I believe there was some discussion at the last meeting regarding the 25-foot no disturb zone. And from what she tells me, that the encroachment into the 25-foot no disturb zone was balanced by some additional landscaping that was offered. I don't know if that sounds familiar, but she said she had forgotten about it at the time, but that was the previous discussion.
Okay, yeah, I don't see the applicant here. But we do have a little bit of time anyway, so we can take a look at the plan. I could share that. If anybody wants me to show that plan.
Probably wouldn't hurt.
Let's see. Rebecca, am I showing the latest plan?
Hold on.
I think this is from the last email. There's 3 attachments.
Yeah, I didn't read the attachment.
Let me. So the latest one, did it say one more time?
Yes, but there are 3 attachments, and this is the first time I've opened this email, so I don't know what the other 2 attachments are.
That looks like the most recent plan that he sent.
All right, so the deck in the back is gone. There's a deck on the side. The deck is right on the edge of the no disturb now, before it was well within. House has been moved. The garage is either gone or under the house now.
Rebecca, do you have the plan with the original filing that we approved?
Yes.
Let me check something. Maybe the other attachment is that. Let me just check. See if there's a date.
There's only one attachment in the one more time email that Rebecca sent at 6:56.
Okay, let me just double check, make sure I'm looking at the right one.
She sent it, yeah, at 6:56 tonight, Bob.
Yeah, I have 3 PDFs.
I have 2. Why?
There's a modern modification policy. Oh, you know what? Ken, you forwarded this. That's why there's 3 attachments.
I did. Oh. Sorry.
It's just one attachment.
Right, but then Ken replied to that email.
Just to Bob and Jimmy, that's why.
And let me just see what the other drawing.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to forward.
That's okay. All right, there are 2 drawings attached. I'm just trying to see if there's a date on these 2 to see which happens to be the most recent. I can't read the date. 2/7/22 on this particular one. No, 4/27/22. So 4/27 on that drawing. And this drawing. is also 427.
Are the drawings different?
I think they're the same drawings. I think it's just two
Yeah,
of the
I think
same
so too.
attachments. Yeah, okay, so hang on. All right, let me reshare.
I think they're all the same.
Yeah, I think they are.
They are, Jim. So again, I'd love to know how this varies from the original plan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So I don't know if you have the plan. I think, and I think we asked him to show that. I mean, I feel like we need to know that.
do we have, it must be in the file, right?
Rebecca
I'm
said
sure
she
it
has
is.
it. Rebecca has it, but you have no way of showing it to us, right, Rebecca?
I'm going to email it to you.
Excellent.
Well, the other plan had the deck on the side and it was actually going on top of the wetland.
Oh, no,
right.
that was the most recent modification. I asked for the original plan.
Yeah, the original.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, it's sent.
You sending it to me, Rebecca?
I sent it to everyone.
Okay.
Whoever gets it first.
Here it is. Mhm. All right. I'll share this one.
I think that was before the modifications.
You should, okay.
Jimmy, I thought you were going to share
What made you think that? Bob? I was working on it. You didn't give me enough time.
it.
You must be getting used to that thing. I don't see it here though.
You don't see it yet?
No.
Does anybody see it?
I see it.
Yeah.
I can see.
I see it there, but I don't see it on my phone.
Don't look on your phone. Look on the
I
screen.
know. Well, I am now. Now I have it. Okay. Someone's playing tricks on me.
All right. So before the crushed rock trenches were under the deck. Looks like, right? Let me see. Can I blow this up?
Well, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. The trenches were under the deck before. The house was
And the house was over. It was,
house was 20 feet from the street. Now it's 10 feet from the street. The house was closer to the property line on the right.
right.
It's been shifted to the left. The
It was
trenches are
20
now on
feet.
the right.
What is it? Is it 15 feet from the property line? I can't see that. Is that 15?
It was 15. 15 on the side, 20 in the front. Now it's 10 in the front. And I don't know what it is on the side. I'd have to go back to the other drawing.
Hey, Bob, I can show them side to side. if you
Yeah,
want.
okay. Let me do that. And I gotta let my dog out real quick, so give me like 30 seconds.
Can everyone see that?
Yes, that's great. Thank you,
So
Ken.
the left is the proposed, and I highlighted 25 foot and the BVW in green, and the right was the originally proposed.
Okay, so he moved the house not almost 10 feet over to the left.
Yeah, and you talked about rock. Was there rock exposed or something on that side? It was made too
Too much-
difficult.
yeah, it was too much ledge. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's closer to the street by 10 feet and about 10 feet over.
okay, so What are all the numbers? T6, T24? Oh, must be the tree identification. So where is the BVW line?
On the old plan, that's a good question.
Yeah, it's kind of hidden behind all that stuff, but it looks like it's at the limit of work line.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'm late. I'm here.
Who's doing that?
that's Ken.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, is that no good?
That's okay. That's good.
Oh, so you got the 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that numbers that? So that's the BVW line. So are we any closer to the BVW or not? Doesn't look it.
So the new deck is a little bit over the 25-foot line.
The new deck is
Further away.
further away.
Yeah, the house is further away.
Oh, this is
Everything's
what-
further away.
9, 3, 2.
Yeah, because he's 10 feet closer to the street.
So was the gravel under the deck last time?
It was originally it was, but
Yeah.
not on the last plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the roof runoff was going to run to those trench drains. I mean, if you're still going to have a proposed deck on that side, why not run the roof runoff underneath it to the same, what he originally proposed?
That's what I was wondering.
You know, why run it all the way across the yard?
The new plan is on the left, right?
Correct.
That is correct.
So
Because I
we're
was gonna
saying-
use the space underneath the deck. That's all. I mean, it's the space on the right side is pretty much, you know, it's not gonna be able to be used for anything, so.
So you're saying it'd be easier to put the trenches under the deck?
To the right, yes, where it's shown on the new plan.
You prefer to have it over there or under the deck?
Over there, to the right. Yep.
Okay. And why is that? Isn't there a ledge over there?
Right.
The ledge is right along the property line.
So this proposed plan on the left is much closer to the original plan.
Yep, it is the original plan. Yep. The footprints, the deck is even reduced.
And it's closer to the street.
It's closer to the street. It's just shifted to the left a little bit to give me a little bit more workspace.
Okay.
Does this meet the requirements of a minor modification? Rebecca or anybody? Since the foundation size hasn't changed, location is actually farther away from the wetland. My thought is that it would meet minor modification.
Yeah, I worked with Elaine on this just to make sure. I'm sorry she wasn't able to be here to explain.
So under the definition of minor modification, what does it say? You know, I will say this, I recall that the additional planting was because he was close in spots. Because it's a lot of planting that's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, there's all those trees across the river. I mean, I'm using less than 5% of the property. 125,000 square feet and using less than 5,000 square feet.
Yeah,
And I've pushed it as far away from the wetlands as I can.
Yep.
Than being on the road.
So part of the definition is will have unchanged or less impact on the interests protected by the act.
okay.
So being closer to the street,
Bob, what's the reg number?
I'm just looking at an excerpt right now.
Okay.
I don't have it.
Do you have it, Rebecca?
I was just looking at what Ken sent. Would you like me to read it?
Yeah.
Okay. The scope of the project has substantially, in determining whether a modification can be treated as a minor, consider whether the scope of the project has substantially changed. Consider whether the changes are small and inconsequential to the shape, size, and location of the footprint and to the area disturbed. The work described is less impact to the resource area than the previously approved. Does the project as modified meet the performance standards of the Wetland Protection Act? And does the potential for adverse impacts decrease or will not be increased?
I would think so.
I think so.
I think so too. I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
Do you want to make a motion so you can stay on schedule?
Yeah, since no one's talking, I'll make a motion to close the hearing.
Second.
Discussion? No discussion?
Jimmy, don't we have to make a motion to determine this is a minor modification?
That's what we're doing now, isn't it?
Yes,
Oh,
you
you're
didn't have to
supposed-
close the hearing because it wasn't a public hearing.
Right. So the motion should be to determine this is a minor modification.
Yep.
So that's your motion?
I think so.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? All right, all in favor? Ken,
Yes.
Frank,
Yes.
Silvana,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Teresa,
Yes.
Jimmy,
Yes.
and I also vote yes.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. Rebecca, can we move on? Okay. So next up is, let's see, we have DP 313618. It's 66 Butler Ave. It's a continued public hearing, notice of intent for the raising of existing structures and construction of a new single-family dwelling and site grading within a buffer to BVW. Is the applicant here?
Yes, good evening. Joe Sorianello here, president and owner of Heritage Builders.
Hey, good evening.
And Paul Finocchio is unable to make the, my site engineer is unable to make the meeting tonight. So I'm here in regards to the site plans, going over the 66 Butler with updated site plans from the last meeting. So I think what we talked about the last meeting was the backyard grading, the trees to be planted, the type of trees to be planted. I think Paul sent in pictures and the type of tree it is. The buffer along the 25-foot buffer line and the deck and patio in the backyard. So with that, tonight, we hope to finalize these items and move forward with the project.
I think there were some comments from the engineering department.
Yeah, Paul sent me those too. We can go over that if you want, and I think it's mostly something I can go over with the engineering upon trying to get a building permit.
Okay. Let's see. I'm looking for that email. Let's see, Rebecca, was that,
Do you want to share the screen or do you want me to read it?
actually, I think I found it.
Okay.
I've got it. I'll share. All right, here's the comments from Eric Sherman.
Yeah.
Site plan comments, has the applicant considered moving the utility pole at the front of the site to allow for a straight entrance at the driveway? It would also allow for more green space and an easier transition from the roadway.
On that, I did look into that, and they told me it's not a utility pole from the Wakefield Light Department. It's a cable, one of the cable companies, and it would take approximately, if at all, would be moved a couple of years. And then to move it, we'd have to move it on the property line, which the abutting neighbor on 70 Butler would be right on the edge of their driveway. So we decided to just leave it and make the driveway way we show it on the site plan.
Okay. Next is based on the existing spot grades, there appears to be a low point along the property line with 70 Butler Ave. Engineering division is concerned that raising the site and building a wall will dam the runoff, causing a puddle to 70 Butler Ave. The existing grading needs to be expanded to ensure a puddle can be avoided.
Yeah, I've been communicating with 70 Butler Ave on that, and we propose to, well, there's a tree that's on the line, and if once that tree is out, we'll be able to regrade right along the property line, which in turn will shed that water towards the backyard, their backyard.
Okay.
And I've been communicating with them on that.
All right, they're also looking for details on the wall, including but not limited.
Yeah, it's just gonna be a stone wall. No higher than 4 feet, but that wall on the driveway is only approximately 2 to 3 feet. I think Paul has it on there as.
And the last comment was about providing flush mounted cleanouts at each of the roof leaders. Or
Yeah,
raise
I think,
the line.
yeah, I think, from what I understand, it's cleanouts in the driveway. Yeah, it would be like a little metal manholes for the cleanout to be accessible. We'll pave around them.
Okay.
Then the last one, I think down there is something that Jack Sullivan will give him the calculations on the on what Eric was asking for on that last one.
Yeah, looking to provide existing and proposed watershed maps to show the delineation of analyzed subcatchment areas. Analysis point needs to be created for both pre and post conditions to account for water runoff into Butler Ave.
Yep. He may have them already. I'm not sure, but he can get him that information.
All right, were there any comments, other comments or questions from the commission? Or anything else we're looking for?
Could you pull the map up, the plan of the property? Weren't we talking about the grades? Is this the same project that we were trying to figure out how the grades, the stairs went down the side of the house?
It was actually, we had questions about the whole, how to get around the backside and the stairs in that patio area. Did we get a new drawing? I'm looking for that.
I don't see, that's what I was looking.
Yes,
at.
Paul sent it in. You have to excuse me for not being able to put it on screen. I thought he had sent it to someone there to.
Yeah,
be
we
able to
have,
put
we
on.
have it. Rebecca sent it.
Okay.
It's dated 4/25.
Okay, wait a minute. I think I got it. Hang on. Let me just check before I, all right, I see a sample of birch trees, looks like.
Yep, that's it.
And let me look at the drawing. Yeah, okay, hang on, I'll share this. Let me just, Get it more visible. Okay. Can you see that?
Yep.
Yeah, so what we did, the walkout door to the, from the basement to the backyard will be under the deck with a patio and then a deck up above with the stairs coming down along the back wall of the garage. And then we'll be able to slope from the left front right along the left side down to the patio. And that will be all grass there. No wall will be necessary.
So,
Where the hell?
so these stairs are going up to the deck or from the deck
Yes.
down to the yard? Is the deck
yeah.
elevated? It's an elevated deck.
Yes, yep. So if you're in the patio underneath the deck,
Okay.
Yep.
Walk up the stairs to get onto the deck.
onto the deck, correct.
I get it. Okay.
And proposed a couple extra trees too along that buffer line. And the fence again is to be, proposed or determined to keep them out of the so-called vegetated area. I still would, post and rail is what I was saying before, because it's more natural. And I think by the time it rots out, those brown birch would be filled in within 10 to 15 years, along with if the post and rail rots out and they don't replace it, those trees will fill in pretty nicely. And I can actually put a couple more in there to fill in some of those bigger spaces too.
And where's the fence line? Is it,
Paul has it so that it's along the buffer, the 25 foot.
that's,
buffer.
okay,
Yeah, it looks like it's right in front of the trees.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's a more, post and rail to me is more natural. I mean, yeah, it will rot, of course, eventually, but I think by the time those trees will get anywhere from 15 feet wide, 20 feet wide to 30, 40 feet high. And if you see the picture of them, they come in a bunch of 4 or 5 of them in one clump. And those are the actual trees that I'd be buying. They're in the nursery now. Yep, those. Yeah.
You put that plan back up, please?
Yeah.
You can't rotate that plan, can you, Bob?
No, I cannot.
All right. Yeah.
There's the proposed fence note right there with, you can see the
Oh, I see.
posts. Yeah.
Yep.
Bob, can you rotate the drawing?
No, Jimmy, I cannot. It's a PDF and I can rotate.
Bob, do you want me to show it?
Yeah, Ken, go ahead. I'll stop. Jim, just turn your head sideways.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I do.
That's what I do. That way you were walking around kind of funny.
You can turn the computer.
All right, I'm all set.
There you go.
Oh, that looks good. We did that.
10.
That's AutoCAD.
Yeah,
So do you want to comment on the applicant's request for the type of fence?
was that directed to me?
Or to everyone, yes.
Oh,
You, including you, Jim.
I think with all the birch trees right behind it, clearly aligned. I mean, I think it's actually a good idea.
yeah.
I could actually put 2 more trees in those big spaces there and make it 12, a total of 12.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea, but I think that's a good solution.
yeah. Until they grow big enough for them to cut them down because they're near the house.
Yeah.
The birch trees, they won't get that big.
Yeah, you can control those pretty good. And they do grow very well in wetlands very, very quickly. They grow fast. They're a fast growing tree.
So just to clarify, there wasn't any steps back here added on the backside. I think that's what we're talking about at one point.
No, but there was the stairs go down to,
Okay,
the stairs go down a grade.
okay. Want to make sure.
I'm still not understanding this drawing.
So you can walk under the deck on that patio to get to the backyard,
Correct.
or a lawnmower, of course, could get across there or whatever.
So
Yep.
this plan is hard to read. Where's the patio? I don't,
It's under the deck. See patio under?
oh, patio under, of
So the
course.
deck is raised, there's a patio underneath it.
And there will be like a walkout door from the basement underneath the deck in that corner. I'll choose a wall item. I'll see what's best when it comes time.
So
Most
the
likely.
91 elevation above the word deck is of the patio.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it drops to 95 and 89.
Jumps up here.
Yeah.
Um,
So 6 inch difference between the deck and the yard.
Yeah.
The grade.
No. No, he said the patio's at 91 and the deck is elevated.
Yeah, and then the yard, there's a spark grade here, the stairs or step at the deck is 90.5. So 91 is the patio.
Yep.
And then the grade here, the step or whatever that is, stair, is at 90.5. And then we're down to 89, 89,
And the deck
4.
approximately top of foundation is 98.3, so the deck will be a little lower than that.
So you're like 7+ feet of headroom under the deck.
Yeah, approximately.
Okay. Any other questions about this?
Is there any, I'm sorry, is there a, I see that the fence would, covers the portion of the backyard. The fence covers the, the part near the backyard, but then is there anything that we want to, between the, on the left side of the property, the part you can't kind of see that. I mean, is there anything we want to put? Yeah, I mean, in terms of, because it kind of goes right down to the, it kind of goes right down to the curb, doesn't it?
There is some, I don't know, vegetation, grass, weeds,
Yeah.
whatever growing there now, which I wouldn't be disturbing.
Okay, that's really what I wanted to understand is whether the, that I guess I guess I would contemplate that pretty much it would, the 25-foot buffer would be undisturbed, all of it. And that really wouldn't leave a whole heck of a lot in terms of the, in terms of the portion of the front yard that's not in the 25-foot buffer.
Right.
Where does the fence end?
It ends at the wall, right? The retaining wall, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
existing wall there now, which is coming out. Yeah.
Oh, that's coming out. Okay.
Yeah, well, I won't disturb the one in the buffer zone, but I mean, unless I can just grade right over it, we'll see when time comes.
But can I ask, is the 25-foot buffer right now, is it sort of undisturbed at this point? I mean, is it mowed or is it lawn? Is it undisturbed? Is it,
On that left side where you are now, looks like it's, like weeds, overgrown weeds and some thick weeds like trees, but they're weeds. They're not any kind of special trees. But then down in the flat area, it looks like someone tried to plant something like a apple orchard or something, and there's added trees in there. Looks like they were mowing it, but I don't know. I'm not going in there.
so I'll ask my fellow commissioners, since it looks like it's kind of undisturbed, although it's been, do we want to, I guess what I'm just maybe concerned about, someone sodding it or something, in the, right up to the wetlands flags or something. That was what was on my mind. And I don't know whether it's, I'm bringing up more question than as a,
But Peter, isn't that all grass out there? Didn't we walk out around that area?
I didn't really focus on the part that was sort of off, that was not near the site.
Oh,
That was I wasn't paying it. I guess I really wasn't paying very close attention. But my point was only that I thought it was pretty, I thought it was sort of undisturbed. It looked to me like it hadn't been, it hadn't really been touched.
yeah.
And I guess what I was asking is whether we have a situation where we have sort of the 25-foot buffer has sort of not been really touched. Is it something that you want to be specific about in the order of conditions? Versus a situation where we have existing place where it's been mowed, and it's part of the backyard.
But you're not suggesting putting anything up to show the 25-foot line, right?
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't. I mean, it's a lot. That would be. I mean, I think where the part where the proposed fence is serves a real purpose because it's the back. It's right next to the house where it would be used.
We could ask the fence be continued.
Like
along
that would double. Well, that would double the. That would double the length of the fence to put it all along the 25-foot buffer.
Yeah, we could request that fence be continued right along up to the like the sidewalk there.
I mean, I guess we could take a better look at it and see if it's vegetated enough that nobody will be going in there. And if it's not, I can just continue the fence up to the sidewalk almost. Stay one length away or.
Right, and not, I mean, it could be blocking off. It doesn't have to go all the way down. It could just.
Right.
Off.
Yeah, you'll basically, if they want to go in there and they're not going to jump the fence, they're going to have to
Right.
walk all the way up the hill.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so it's.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a little more. So maybe.
So yeah, your fence would like come up to the other fence almost.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, I could. Yeah, stop it there.
You want to go back to that first picture, Ken? First view.
So this is the slope that goes down.
Yeah, so if you ran that fence along that line and almost came up to the sidewalk or butting up
Yeah.
against another fence, that would probably be just about right.
Yeah, I don't have a problem doing that. Matter of fact, I'd probably give it a more clean look, a starting point and an ending point, however you want to look at it.
Discourage anybody from dumping anything or throwing anything.
Yeah, even off the sidewalk.
Yeah.
or a neighbor.
Yeah, so let's do that.
Yeah, I can have Paul show it on the print
That's
or,
funny, that part there, now that part there is not really even in the 25-foot buffer one on that last
no,
page.
it's not, right.
Yeah, so that you could pull up and put the sod down there, and have
Yeah.
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 All right, anything else? From the commission? Rebecca, you good on this? Okay. Any questions from the public? Okay. Would somebody like to make a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make the motion.
I second.
Any discussion? Okay. All in favor? Frank,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Jimmy,
Yeah,
Teresa,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Silvana,
Yes.
and I also vote yes to close the public hearing. Okay,
Thank you very much, members.
all right, thank you. Good night.
Have a good night. Thank you.
All right, next up is DP 313608, 200 Quarter Power Parkway. Public hearing continued, notice of intent for the construction of a multi-story building.
Good evening. It's Matt D'Amico representing the applicant.
Good evening, Matt.
I think tonight we submitted plans before the last hearing, understanding that they didn't get into the hands of the commission members until a day or two beforehand. We're hoping that the commission has had some time to digest those plans. And really, we're just here to field questions. I have Nick Delacavo with Allen Major with me, our civil engineer, and Mitch Maslenka from Goddard, our wetland scientist. I don't know if it would be useful for us to bring up the current plan.
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Nick, would you mind doing that?
Can everybody see this?
Yes, thank you.
Let me know if there's a specific plan you want to look at. This is just one of the grading and drainage plans. So just to quickly recap, at the last meeting, we discussed how we moved this corner of the parkway further away from the wetlands and closer into the site. In doing so, we had to slightly reconfigure the surface parking lot. Same number of spaces. We have the sediment forebays and the renaturalization area that Mitch had discussed in more detail, pretty much throughout the back side of the parkway, all the way up towards the wetlands. And then we also moved this section of the parkway behind the parking garage, moved it further away from the wetlands and closer towards the building. And Copley Wolf had submitted a more detailed planting schedule for the areas within the buffers. And then Mitch also discussed, some of the seed mixes and some of the habitat restoration that we're kind of doing in those areas. I know Mitch had submitted several different reports. I don't know if the commission's had a chance to look at those.
no.
Did we ever have any discussion on the pool? I don't know that we did. Is the, it's a swimming pool, right?
Yes.
The swimming pool.
And is that gonna have a cartridge type filter? How's that gonna be handled?
Allison, do you want to touch on that? Or maybe it hasn't been.
I don't think we've brought it up.
No, we haven't discussed that yet. We typically reach out to a pool consultant that will advise us with all of that. But if there's a recommendation, we can definitely take it into consideration.
Yeah, we'd be looking for a cartridge type filter that doesn't require back flushing. And I guess we'd also want to know if you were to drain it down, you know, what would the plans be? Would obviously want the chlorine level to be, you know, significantly low or non-detectable before it would be drained down. We wouldn't want to send any superchlorinated water into, you know, any of those areas with the plantings.
And we agree. And what was the filter type you mentioned again?
It's a cartridge type filter that doesn't
Okay.
require back flushing. You know, the old like charcoal filters in diatomaceous earth required you to back flush to basically regenerate the media. The cartridge type filters trap and can be cleaned or replaced without the back flushing.
Can I ask where you are with the Board of Appeals?
Absolutely. So we are nearing the end of our process with the Board of Appeals. We as part of their process, we have to present conditions of the project, which is something we did last night. You know, we were kind of feeling as if we were, you know, candidly towards the end of both processes here with the ZBA and the Conservation Commission, and asked if they were okay with the site plan as presented. We've presented this new site plan to them, and they are okay with that and are happy to have the Conservation Commission, you know, close the hearing if that's obviously up to the wisdom of the Conservation Commission and where the Conservation Commission is comfortable.
Do you mind sharing?
You have that in writing?
How does,
Is that- No?
do you
Sorry?
mind sharing the conditions that and to the Board of Appeal, Matt? Can you send that?
Yeah, well, I'd be happy to send that. Those haven't been voted on, and those
No, I
won't be
understand.
voted on until the special permit vote happens, but.
Right, no,
I'm
I
happy to-
appreciate that. Because just to get a sense of the things we might be looking for are going to be, you know, included in that.
Sure, that makes sense.
So it sounds like you're expecting them to issue a final, you know, the final permit at your next meeting, Matt?
It's perhaps next meeting, maybe the one following.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rebecca, do you have any additional comments or questions?
No, I don't. They provided a ton of information in one of the last emails. I would say maybe what you guys want to consider is our next meeting. We have a lot of conditions to go over. I wouldn't necessarily close if they're not opposed to that, but I would say, why don't we start drafting up some conditions, and by doing that and going through, if you guys have any last questions, you should be able to tackle it at the next meeting, but just start on that process maybe.
Yeah, I think that's a good advice.
We would certainly be comfortable with that.
Are there any other questions or comments from the commission?
Rebecca, you and Elaine will work on that. I don't know who has primary responsibility for this project.
Yeah, we both will work on them, probably discuss them and come up some ideas.
Okay, great.
Sorry?
I said, great.
Okay, good.
Video, sorry.
Anything else from the commission? Any questions from the public? Okay, I see Dennis has raised his hand. Dennis, go ahead.
Okay, can I share my screen?
Yes, go ahead.
Can you see that?
Not yet.
How about now?
No.
Okay. Share. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Mr. Romano, last meeting, you suggested that I go to the website, your website, and they had information there. So what I did was I went to the website and I saw the drainage report. And I'd like to call your attention to this drainage report. It's starting in the second paragraph. It says all runoff from the site was analyzed at 3 study points. Study point 1 is a summation of all runoff towards the existing culvert to the south, connecting to the lake. Now, last week, a commission member asked somebody, and they said that no water drained to the lake. And when I was on the Quantum Power Study Committee, Michael Collins passed out this brochure and this map, and he listed the heights on the area in question. It's known as Walker's Brook, and it says 187.54. And on the inside, it says 185.56. So unless water flows uphill.
Can you go back to the first page?
Yeah, all runoff from the site, yes.
Okay, hang on. All right, so study point 1 is a summation of all runoff towards the existing culvert to the south, connecting to the lake. Is it actually saying that the water runs through the culvert connecting to the lake, or just that the culvert connects to the lake? We know the water's not running to the lake from that culvert.
That is correct. Okay. And because it's water doesn't go uphill. Now, Mr. Hartley from Fish and Wildlife came out and did an excellent report on the lake. And if you go down to here, it says over 20 pipes leading into the lake, Walker's Brook no longer entering the lake, and the elevated lake levels. Those are the problems with the lake. It's not water. Walker's Brook is no longer flowing into the lake. It's stopped at that culvert. Here's that culvert. Here's a picture of the culvert. You can see that the snow and dirt is way above the top of the culvert. Now, here is a map from the Mass DOT. And here's the American Liability Insurance and Company. And it shows the direction of the water flow upstream, backwards. The stream, Walker's Brook, is flowing backwards into the Reading Drainage Canal.
What's the date of that map?
I think it was 2000. I'm not sure. But I sent I mailed a copy to the commission, to the Conservation Commission. So it's available to look at. Now, the McGee, when we had the study, the diagnostic report, it was the Camp Dresser and McKee feasibility study of Lake Quantico, 1986, which characterized the alleged inlet as a second outlet. And here, Mike Collins called it an outlet on his map. And Camp Dresser and McKee, when they did the feasibility study, number 4 is secondary outlet, number 4 right here. And number 1 is the main outlet, which is Saugus River that you're all familiar with. Now I live in the fairgrounds, and so that used to be part of this property, and my water drains straight to the lake, or it's supposed to, but it now goes into the Mass DOT culvert after they built the highway. And it should go down to the lake, but that culvert is blocked now. Now, if I could make a suggestion, can you see the screen? Is this up?
Looks like you stopped sharing, Dennis.
Okay. Now, here's a picture in 1885, and it shows Lowell Street in 1885, and you can see the lake here is much lower, and then the Walker's Brook, which used to be called the Ash Stream, was still flowing into the lake. And you notice how clean the water is. And also, the lake was 16.5 feet deep in those days. It's now 11.5 feet deep because of siltification. And what you have here is can you see this screen? This the dam at the Lowell Street?
I can't see the dam. I see the horse and buggy.
Okay.
I see where the arrow's pointing. So that is the close to where the flashboards are now, correct?
Yes. Yes. And what you have is you're actually trapping all the debris. And rather than this surface water flowing down the Saugus River, it's being trapped. And if you got rid of the flashboards, and then you would be able to have water actually will actually be able to clean the lake. Now here's a drawing of the design for that culvert. It was put in late 1939, about early 40s. And it shows that water actually did run down the culvert when it was originally built. You can see the water level. And then here's people from the Water Power Study Committee down at the culvert, and they all
We're
observed.
not seeing those pictures now. You stopped sharing.
Oh. Can you see that now?
Yes.
Okay, that's Mike Collins.
Yep.
And that's the Water Power Study Committee. And we went down and as they testified last 2 weeks ago, no water flows under this roadway. And you're doing all the wrong things with having a dam there. You know,
so that dam is off the property.
The dam.
You talking about the flashboards?
The flashboards are at on Lowell Street.
Right. Isn't there a requirement to keep the lake at a certain elevation at certain parts of the season?
Are you asking me?
Actually, anybody, Jimmy or anybody? Jim, you were part of that commission, that study.
I was part of it. I think Dennis had pointed out that the lake was controlled elevation.
Okay.
I
Well,
think that's coming from Dennis.
Okay, so.
And I don't know if those things, right, Dennis? Didn't you have something showing that the lakes was supposed to be a controlled elevation?
Not that I know of.
No.
I think it should be.
They do control the height of the lake, but they don't want the lake getting so low that there's a problem for the sailboats.
Yeah.
But those flashboards have been in place since like the 1920s or 30s though, right?
And I don't believe the lake was ever 16 feet deep.
Okay. The flashboards.
Because according to Doug Heath, the lake sediments about an inch every 100 years. So I don't think from 11 to.
It's never a good idea to put a dam on it on the outlet. And I think it's chapter 41, section 19. And it's basically illegal. But what you want to do is you want to lower the lake so that water is able to run through that culvert. And you have to clean it, culvert. It's so much stuff has been plowed into it that water no longer flows there. And okay, so it's very easy.
Well,
to do this.
So what did the study on the lake come up with? What, after everybody got together and went through everything, what was the final recommendations?
They recommended solar bees. That's what the majority of the people recommended.
No,
but
Dennis,
there's a very
correct, Dennis.
there's a very logical, easy way to make this work, and you just have to let water flow downhill.
Right. So a couple things here. So we're mixing a project that we're talking about with kind of solutions for the lake.
Okay. Yeah, but you can solve both problems at the same time.
Not necessarily. Are you suggesting that the lake be lowered, which would be outside of the scope of this applicant?
But this applicant is saying the water is flowing it's water is flowing to the lake, but it's not flowing to the lake.
Well,
It's
it
going
says-
upstream. Your river is flowing backwards. It's going upstream into the Redding Drainage Canal.
Well, it says that the culvert is connected to the lake.
You saw the,
And I see the elevations that don't show that it's flowing.
well, here is the Mass DOT.
Again, what was the
It's-
date? What's the date on this drawing or map?
If you could do a walkthrough, I mean, you did one for a loading dock. I mean, this is a very important part of the lake. I mean, it's very, very important part of the town. And
Agreed.
Elaine Vreeland did a walkthrough, and she learned a lot. And I learned a lot from her. And it took about 2 hours. But when I walked with Matt D'Amico and the two other planners, I took them on the same tour that Elaine Vreeland went on. And there's a lot to it. And I would be happy to show you people this if anyone wants, anytime, anywhere. I would be happy to show this to you. And this would be a great benefit for the community. Because, Mr. Hartley from the Fish and Wildlife laid it out for us that Walker's Brook is no longer entering the lake and it's elevated lake level. Those are the two things you have to solve, because their water is discharging into the Redding Drainage Canal. It's not going to the lake.
Right. I mean, I think we do understand that the water is not getting the supply or the turnover that it got many, many years ago. There's not as much water getting into the lake as there used to be. But I don't know that the solution.
But this specific job, this specific application is saying the water is flowing into the lake, and it's not.
Well, I don't know that it's saying that. When we haven't seen that happen either.
All site runoff eventually discharges to Lake Quantapowhat. It's not getting to Lake Quantapowhat. That's a false statement.
What's the other culvert described?
The other culvert is a very minor one that was put in when they built Quantapowhat Parkway. I have pictures of it if you want to see it. It's this is the other culvert that's right here. That's the other culvert that's
which picture, Dennis? Culvert under Corner Parkway east of Harvest. Drainage east of Harvest.
Okay.
Dennis, you know what? I'd be glad to go out there and look at this again with you. But you know, this project.
Jim, you never went around to the whole thing. You have to see, you can't just go to one spot or two spots. There's 10 spots you have to see.
Okay.
Okay. And I would be
Okay,
happy to show you around.
We'll do that. But what I'm
Good.
saying is that this project is not responsible for what you're talking about. And you
yes,
know,
it is.
It is up to us to not disturb the conditions that are out there as far as where the water goes. So
But
we
they're
have to
saying-
make sure that the water exits the property in approximately the same areas as it is now. So we're not really gonna, I don't see how we can solve your problem. It's like it needs another project.
Yeah.
It's that this project, this application is saying that all runoff is going, all runoff is connecting to the lake. All site runoff eventually discharges into Lake Quantapalo.
Well, that,
Okay,
Okay.
and that's not a true statement. That's a false statement.
well, it could be going in by groundwater. It doesn't have to be an open channel flow. It can be groundwater too.
Yeah. It says it's going down the culvert, Jim. The existing culvert to the south, connecting to the lake. All site runoff eventually discharges to Lake Quantapalo, and that's not a true statement. And that's, we can't get around that.
All runoff from the site. I still don't see the connection.
All site runoff eventually discharges to Lake Quantapalo. And it doesn't. It goes upstream into the Redding Drainage Canal. Your river is running backwards. Your Walker's Brook is running backwards. And many people have said this. I mean, Fish and Wildlife,
Well, they have
and
three
Dresser
study points. They
McGee.
have-
I mean,
So, yeah, but Dennis,
and this is such an easy thing to fix.
if it's running backwards because the lake elevation is too high,
This meeting is
Right.
being recorded.
that has nothing to do with the actual application of this project.
So two
This
things.
application says that, it says that
We're out of money and I have a new bill for you, Chris.
all site runoff eventually discharges to Lake Quantapalo, but that's not a true statement. It's running, all site runoff discharges into the Redding Drainage Canal. Would it be a true statement?
Well, it's telling you it comes from, if you read the rest of the sentence, it comes from roof leaders and overland flow. It comes into the lake. Of course, all the water that's in the drainage area goes into the lake, the low point.
Excuse me, Jim? Say that again?
Of course, all the water that's in that area is going to go into the lake because the lake is the low point.
No, the
From this
parking lot,
site, from this
parking lot is
site.
below the level of the wetlands, the adjacent wetlands.
It'll all get there once it gets to it's all gonna get there, even through the ground.
Okay,
So you've got flow that travels over the grass, you've got flow that travels through
so
these conduits, you've got flow that travels from the wetlands, and you've got groundwater.
yeah, so,
But even, Dennis, even if what you're saying is accurate, the project in front of us doesn't control the level of the lake. They cannot do
Correct.
to lower the level of the lake.
yeah, but that would be, a solution to the problem.
That's
because
not
the-
part of this project. It's not something they could even do.
But that is not a true statement. All site runoff eventually discharges to Lake through the two culverts. It does not travel through the culverts. That's not a true statement.
Hey, Dennis, we have to pause for 1 minute. We do have somebody else on the meeting that's waiting for a quick resolution that we have an update for. So let's just hold your thought for 1 sec, okay? Rebecca? Rebecca? Jim Plunkett is, Mr. Plunkett, Rebecca said that you're all set.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I just, I got Keith's tree and he came out and, examined it and said that, yeah, it should be cut down. And
Yeah,
then-
which, you're Briarwood?
Yes, I'm at 6 Briarwood Lane.
Sorry, we discussed that earlier tonight and we did vote. You're okay to go ahead and take the tree down?
Okay.
And you're gonna do a contribution to the tree fund in place of replication.
Yes. Do
Yeah,
you want me
so,
to come in
you know, you may
tomorrow?
have, we covered that earlier in the meeting. You may not have joined yet when we talked about that, but
I
you
couldn't-
are all set.
I couldn't get this thing to work.
Sorry for keeping you hanging on, but didn't
Oh, it's
realize.
interesting. It's interesting. I've never done this before and I learned something tonight, you know?
Oh, no problem.
Do I go
So-
down tomorrow and see them about my contribution to that?
So Rebecca, I think Elaine's in the office tomorrow.
Okay,
She probably won't be because she is not feeling well. So I'll be in on Tuesday.
Tuesday's fine. I'll come down. Is that fine?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
I think I have a meeting at 11:30 to 12:30, so any other time would be okay.
So yeah, I just tell Keith to go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Excellent.
All right.
Okay, guys.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
All right, Dennis, we're back to you.
Oh, yes, and Jim is agreed to come down and do a site visit.
Yeah, and I
And,
know Elaine has already done one, correct?
Yes, and I would like to invite the other members of the committee to do one also.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Good. And anyone else?
Needs to be a weeknight, though.
Okay.
Evening.
I mean,
Early
I'm-
evening, maybe.
I'm retired, so I have nothing else to do. So I'd be happy any time, any day. And anyone else in the
All right,
committee?
We'll take a look at the weather and try to plan something for
Dennis,
sometime next week, maybe.
Okay. Yes, Jim.
I mean, if you read that, under existing conditions, if you read that top paragraph where it starts, the site is generally flat, varying from 0 to 5 feet in elevation, with a low point around the perimeter of the property and a high point at the center of the general location of the existing building. The site is surrounded by wetlands as shown on the accompanying plans. These wetlands are fed primarily by surface runoff from existing roof and parking lot. So, and then it goes into telling you that the majority of this runoff flows unmitigated with no treatment, which is not a good thing. But
And it says these wetlands are also connected like by 2 underground culverts.
yeah, but it's not, it's
And
not
but
just going
those
through.
culverts, I mean,
Okay.
one culvert does connect, but the southern culvert, which is the main drainage point, does not. It flows upstream.
You can see where the water goes when it rains, and this paper is talking about the site where the building is now.
Yes,
That's, it's, from what I see, it's limited to that area.
all site runoff eventually discharges to Lake Quannapowitt. But instead, that runoff goes in
But the runoff they're
upstream.
talking about is the runoff that's around from the top of the building, from the roof leaders and from the rain itself. So there is a wetlands in the back that's taking the water up. There's a wetlands on the
And-
side.
And this runoff goes into the Reading, it goes into the Mass DOT culvert, intermittent stream. And then it goes down to Walker's Brook, as I'll show you when we do the site inspection. And then it goes upstream into the Reading Drainage Canal, and I'll show you that. And it's a little difficult to understand.
Did
but,
you have, do you have the paper that Mike did that showed the elevations in Walker's Brook and the to the chamber that you're talking, where the flashboards are? He remember he did the elevations all the way through, and he said that the elevations aren't right to do what you're talking about.
Right there.
I don't know what you're talking about, Jim. But I know what I see. And
Right, so right there, it's showing the lake's at 187. Culvert's at 185.
correct.
So lake's higher than the culvert. And 183 is, I'm not sure what 183 is pointing at.
That's the Reading Drainage Canal.
Okay.
Okay, so Mr. Romano and Mr. Luciani, When would you like to do your tour?
If it's next week, Wednesday is looking like rain and I cannot do Thursday, Friday, I could do Monday or Tuesday.
It's gonna be 70 someday next week, so we can pick that day.
Sunday or someday.
I think, no, I think it was Wednesday. Wasn't it gonna be 70?
Wednesday's rain, yeah, but Wednesday is 67 and rain.
And what about, oh, so.
I could
how
do
about
Tuesday.
Thursday? Well, I don't care.
I gotta pick.
Rain or
something.
shine is fine with me.
Well.
Yeah, I
not-
can't do
not for
Thursday.
me.
I could do Monday or Tuesday, Jimmy.
Okay, either one I can do. Oh, I can't do, what day is Monday, the 3rd?
Second.
Okay, so I can't do Tuesday.
All right, so Monday would be the only possible day next week if we're gonna do it.
Okay.
Monday the 2nd,
Monday the 2nd.
and what time?
Um, 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock? Okay, and where should we meet?
Should we meet at Quarter Power Parkway? Would that make the most sense?
Okay, Corner Power Parkway. Where? On the Parkway?
Somewhere near the culvert.
Okay, exactly. 6 o'clock next Monday at the culvert, 6 p.m. And Rebecca, you want to come? No,
I'm not sure that I can, but I can look into it.
I very much appreciate if you come along. And
Actually, as a matter of fact, I know I can't, as I'm just thinking about the date.
well, would you like to make another appointment?
During the day?
Anytime.
Okay. Let me get back to you because I don't know my schedule off the top of my head, other than Tuesday, I have an 11:30 to 12:30. But I don't know what if I have anything on Thursday.
All right. And anyone else?
All right, so if anybody would like to join us Monday at 6 o'clock.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your time.
All right, you're welcome. You can stop sharing, Dennis, if you'd want.
Okay. Stop share. There we go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions from public? All right, anything else regarding this project tonight?
I have a brief question on kind of process here.
Sure.
I know boards and commissions do it differently in different municipalities. I'm just curious how, in terms of the drafting of conditions, is that done by you, Rebecca, or how does that, do we propose conditions or how does that kind of work?
Typically I do them, but I'm more than happy to receive something from you if you have suggestions. And I think we were talking about the next meeting. Hopefully we have conditions written out so that we can start from there and see where it leads us.
That makes sense.
And again, Matt, it'd be helpful to have the proposed conditions you said. I know it's not quite the same jurisdiction, but to the ZBA.
Yep, I'll have that circulated to this commission tomorrow. Rebecca, I think it makes sense for the commission to be drafting as opposed to us. But we are more than happy to provide feedback or comment, just answer any questions as that goes along.
Okay, that sounds perfect. That's typically how we do it.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, so we're going to keep this continued to the next meeting, which is May. When is the next meeting? I don't have the calendar in front
I
of
think
me.
it's the 14th.
I think you're right.
12th?
12th.
Yeah, I can't.
May
12th.
12th. Yep. Okay. Do we have any other business to cover, Rebecca?
Yes, but it's quick.
Okay.
I sent you guys the open space proposal that we received. If you guys don't want to take a peek at it now, just maybe we could have it ready to go for next meeting.
Yeah.
Or we can get it now if you want to pull it up.
It's only 3 pages. If you want, I could share it.
Yeah, why don't we look at it now?
Okay.
I think it's worth it to look at it
Yeah.
now. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll share my screen. Okay. Picture the upper and lower common. Everybody can see that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I can see the cost is just about exactly what we have for funds.
Funny how it works out that way, right?
Which came first?
Teresa, I thought the same thing.
Told them we only had 30,000. Was that what it was going to come out to? Or we're only getting $30,000 worth of a update?
So if you guys have any specific questions or you want greater detail, just let me know.
So
and we
that's
can
it?
get it.
That literally is it?
Yeah.
There's no narrative, there's nothing, there's just this?
Yep.
Because it says what it is, I'm sorry. I'm a little taken aback, can you tell?
Okay.
There's nothing saying what they're doing, what's gonna be in the report, nothing?
Well, they're going to follow along with the workbook that's put out by the state that in order
They
to,
should say that in the they should say that. This just says they're gonna spend this much time, doesn't say what the heck we're gonna get.
Bob, isn't there a second?
Getting for 34,930, this is, I mean, really?
There is another attachment. Hang on.
Oh,
We send them a scope of work?
Another,
Is this the same thing? Here you go. You want to see more papers?
yes, yeah, okay, much better.
Hey, everybody got the same email as me.
you're better at hooked on phonics.
All right, so what do you want me to do here? I'm not going to go reading this whole thing to you guys.
No, I think we need to look at, I mean, I have not had a chance to look at this either.
What do you mean? You only got like 40 emails today.
Would you guys prefer I spread them out? Because I find that sometimes when I spread it, I think we talked about this before, when I spread them out, people then forget and say, I'll look at them later because the meeting's next week, and then they don't even remember they have.
All the same day, there's no way we're gonna ever look at them all that day.
My first one at 6 o'clock tonight.
Like, no way.
Okay, but is it realistic that if I send it out earlier, that something will be different?
Well, you could do both.
I could do both. Okay, I'll try both.
You do it a few days before.
It's easy for me to do it on a Tuesday because I work on the Tuesday. Now, of course, some of the times I don't get all the
Well,
information.
no, and of course, if you don't get it, all you can do is send what you have, Rebecca.
It is just information overload for us.
Yes.
And, you know,
So I
I'm
didn't
at work
always
all
do
day
it
and I
that
don't even see-
way. I didn't always do it that way, but we did have some conversations. I tried it because we did have some conversations where I said, oh, I sent it to you last week, and then nobody knows where it is. So at least if I send them all together, you guys know to look today.
Yeah,
Your
I
email.
just haven't had a chance to look at them, but they're all today's.
Well, I'll do whatever works best for you guys. It's equal to me. So I'm just trying to find a solution where you have enough time, but then also don't forget about it.
Well, it's like, you know, the old adage, how do you eat an envelope, elephant? Yeah, how do you eat an envelope? One bite at a time, you know? When I get 15 of them at 4 o'clock, it's like, whoa.
Okay, we'll try it. I will do it as I get them. And then I will do a second one on the day of that says, just in case you don't remember that I sent you this last week. Does that work the best?
We can try that.
I'll do
I
it.
appreciate that, Rebecca. Thank you.
Yeah, it's no problem.
I mean, in the old way, I did have a chance to look at them. I may not remember them, but I did see them and look at them as they came through gradually.
It's hard. I know we do other things during the day, Rebecca.
I know. No, I know.
All right. So
Sometimes I thought it might be easier, but that's fine.
we
Okay.
got the deliverables highlighted here in
Yes.
purple. 5 project meetings, 2 public forums.
So that's for the task 1 deliverable. So that's and then we have task 2 deliverables.
Yeah.
I mean, they got it pretty well spelled out, Teresa.
They do. They definitely do.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, they've got,
Do these guys come highly recommended?
But Rebecca and Elaine likes them.
And they
Yeah,
fit-
I've actually subcontracted them professionally and they do a great job.
Well, that's good to know. That to me,
Did you look at the other plans that they did?
I did. I mean, the only reason I was leaning towards the other way was I thought it would be cheaper, quicker, because they already had done the prior one and they've done local towns to us.
Can you keep on scrolling down to see that what the deliverables are for each task?
Yeah.
Well, again, I know we're just looking at it now, but this seems pretty complete.
yeah, there's a lot too this week. Holy mackerel.
So Rebecca, are you asking us to approve the signing of this contract?
If you're comfortable with the information you have, or if you'd like to digest it longer, that's fine. I just wanted to get the conversation going.
I guess I would appreciate a little more time just to look at it. I'm sure it'll be fine, but it's hard to look at it now on the fly.
Okay.
But that's just me. So if others feel differently, and I can look at it and I can, I mean, and be ready to talk about it. Is it too late for the next meeting to?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Can we wait till the next meeting, or do you want us to email you in between?
No, we can wait till the next meeting. But maybe we can make it quick at the next meeting because we have a lot of stuff to go through.
Yeah,
So
no, and I think,
yeah, I'll put it as a vote on this for next meeting.
yes.
Okay.
Well, I thought we already voted on this last meeting.
You voted to retain them. You
Oh,
didn't vote
yeah.
on you didn't vote on the actual contract.
Okay.
Is this signed by Jim on behalf of the Conservation Commission, or does it have to be signed by the town? No, by us, right?
Yeah,
It's
Jim,
by
yeah, over,
conservation.
Jim.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, if others want to vote on it tonight, that's, I mean, I don't mean to.
Judy and Rebecca, have you guys gone through this already?
Yeah,
Nope.
it's all stuff that when I met with him, it's all the things that we talked about. Because the one thing where he thought we could have saved money was on the ADA self-evaluation. But Bill Renault said he didn't have time to work on it because he's the ADA compliance officer now.
Rebecca, have you had a chance to go through it?
No.
Okay.
No, but my assumption is 2 things. One is, yes, they've done a number of these. And 2 is the workbook is pretty specific about what type of information needs to be included. So it's a relatively standard document where we just fill in the details for Wakefield.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, even comparing the two head to head, the content was the same. May have been laid out or looked slightly different, but it was the same content. All right, anything else?
Mm-mm.
No?
Rebecca and I are meeting with the garden club next week to talk about native plantings around town
Oh, interesting.
and floral way. They want to replant floral way. They lost a ton of trees, the flowering trees in a couple of the storms.
Mhm.
Yeah, I noticed that they're not, that it's, looks different now. Right.
Yeah. And we're putting together a presentation for the website. It was going to be for Earth Day, but now it's just going to be like the kickoff to the open space plan with a link to that Dark Skies presentation, the artist who does the wetlands, the spiral wetland. She has a talk that I got permission that's going to be linked, some native plantings, and Haley, the new associate member, has gone around town and taken all some great nature pictures. So it's going to be the 7 voting districts around town. There'll be some pictures from each one. It's a meteor shower, which I thought that would be nice as like the opening page. So I'm going to work with the communication manager, Jen McDonald, and put something together so it can be, you know, to try to gain some interest in the plan. So hopefully we'll get some people to volunteer.
Nice.
That sounds great.
Wouldn't the trees on Floral Way be Dennis Fazio's area?
The garden club, I don't know if they got money from maybe Wakefield Center neighborhood. They were talking about different areas all around town.
Oh, okay.
I think he would give them leeway. He would probably do the plantings for them, but I mean, I think it's a good idea that they start looking towards more native plantings, especially in that area.
Yeah, no, makes sense.
And they seem open to it, so.
Okay. Anything else, Judy?
I'm going to go to the next planning board meeting and promote the open space plan.
Excellent.
I talked to Aaron, yeah.
All right. Anybody else have anything else?
No, I'll just say thank you and goodbye. It's been a pleasure serving with you all, and look forward to seeing you guys around town.
Right, maybe
Frank.
I'll see you at the train station, Frank.
Yep, we'll see you on the train.
Yeah, we're gonna
Go
miss
for
you.
breakfast,
And
Frank.
we do need to plan a little farewell outing.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So we'll work on that.
yeah, we'll keep you in the loop on that.
That sounds good.
Breakfast is good.
You can't drink wine at breakfast, though.
Yeah.
Or you'd be surprised.
All right.
All right.
All right, guys.
Frank, would you like to make a motion to adjourn?
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Is
All
there a
right.
second? Is there a
A
second?
great final motion. Good suggestion.
Yeah, that's good. We're gonna miss you, Frank.
Well, we'll see you at least one more
Miss all of you
time.
guys. All right.
Until next year, right?
That's right. It's 1 year. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
All
can
right.
always volunteer to help with the open space plan.
Mm.
You can
Right,
be on one of
got
those
it.
committees.
Are you still in
Hot diggity dog.
are you still in your office, Frank?
A couple of days a week. Yeah, I was there today.
No, I mean right now.
Oh, no, this is my virtual office background.
Okay, I was saying, it looks too professional to be your home office.
The hard hat in the background.
Yeah, perfectly, angled. So it,
Exactly. No, I know. I would say, what? All righty.
Yep.
All righty.
All right.
All
So
right.
second motion, a second to that motion. To
Second.
adjourn. All right. All in favor? Ken,
Yes.
Jimmy,
Yes.
Teresa,
Yes.
Savannah,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Frank,
yes.
and I also vote yes. All right. Good night, everybody.